a time when integration took place, I was definitely very full of feelings. It was one of those things that, I think you'll never forget. I remember the Freedom Riders coming to Chestertown and being a part of that and meeting them and, just learning what was going on at the time, because as a child, you kind of accepted things. You knew there were certain places that you didn't go. And it wasn't questioned, it was kind of, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
And then when all of, the changes started to happen, my gosh, it was like, wow, what an eye-opener. All of a sudden, the recognition of people being people and the freedom to go wherever you needed to go in the town and to be able to partake in different businesses that you've never been able to partake of previously. It was great. Absolutely great. The school's integrated in my 5th grade year.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was a very difficult experience. My dad, who was from South Carolina, was one of those that pushed education. And he, of course, always wanted his kids to have the best of the best. And it was voluntary that first year for integration.
Right.
So he coerced me to go to the quote-unquote white school where the full integration took place. So 5th grade was at the local Chestertown Elementary School, which would have been the white school. And then that following year, all of the integration had taken place. We all went to school together. The first year was a little bit difficult. It really was. You had people that were openly, totally against it. And, being thrust into that environment was something that was difficult. And you kind of withstood it. I mean, I have a very unusual name, Bagwaina. And I remember my English teacher refused to pronounce it correctly. I mean, after the whole school year, she just refused. And in the 5th grade, okay, these memories come streaming back here. In the 5th grade, we had 3 groups, I guess, based on your ability. There was the green group, the yellow group, and the pink group. And after all the testing and so forth that they did at the beginning of the school year, I was promoted from the yellow group to the pink group, which was the top group. And I was one of very few blacks in the pink group. And I would feel that strain. People were, some of the teachers were very nice, but some of them were kind of nice nasty, as I used to put it. And like I said, this one particular teacher refused to pronounce my name correctly. And I'll never forget, the superintendent at the time came in to observe our class. And my teacher called on me to answer a question, and I didn't answer. And she was just, she couldn't believe I did that. And she comes storming over to my desk. You hear me talking to you. And I told her politely, Miss, and I'm not going to use her name. I said, but, I've been in your class for almost a year. And I think by this time you would have learned to pronounce my name correctly. Talk about chutzpah. I believe when I look back and remember doing that, and the superintendent came over and took me out of the classroom and asked me, and I had any difficulty in what was going on and so forth and so on. And I told her. And she said, okay. Nothing ever happened, but the teacher kind of steered clear of me from that point on. You used to have to line up to go into school, and the safety patrols would be out there. And I remember one morning I was standing in line, and 2 little black boys were kind of cutting up, at the end of the line. And this one little safety patrol grabbed the little boy by the scruff of his coat and threw him over in front of me and says, here, get over there with your own kind. And I had no idea why. I was just tearful. But it was just, oh my gosh, it hurts so bad that he would do that. I mean, I'm what, 60, getting ready to be 62 years old, and I still remember that vividly.